Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. Want to make a video here on NIO. This is going to be ticker symbol NIO. Now, once again, NIO has had a pretty monstrous week. We closed out a bit rough, down almost 7% on the day. But over the course of this week, we did have a recommendation from a sell to a neutral position, raising a target price 1,500%, which was a little bit misleading because it went from $1 to $16. Now this sent NIO's price soaring over the course of a couple of days. Now here on Friday, NIO has announced that they will be offering another 75 million Class A American depository shares. So this is now diluting current shareholders the value of their stock, and you can see how that was taken in the market today. Now I want to dive into the chart both on a long term and then a more narrow focus on this week's trading to get an idea of some support and resistance levels that we can see as we move into next week. Now, one more thing that I do want to bring up prior to moving into the chart is that there are a lot of new Chinese electric automobile manufacturers that are coming out with new IPOs. So that is something to keep in mind, that those other companies are now starting to take away from the market share that NIO has in China and throughout the globe. So that is one more thing just to pay attention to. There are a lot more Chinese automotive manufacturers that are hitting the American markets to raise revenue or to raise money to build their cars and research and development and overall I guess corporate growth. So here is NIO on a weekly time frame here on the screen. And this just gives you an idea from when they IPO'd down to their lows back in here in the later stages of 2019, all the way to where we currently sit. And you can see we had a very rapid movement from when we broke through about $6 per share, and then we broke through $11 per share, went and made a new all-time highs, retraced back down, and now we're pushing even higher. So you can see a couple tick marks that I have in here at the $6 price point, then again at the $8 price point, down here around $11 as I had mentioned, and then those highs that we initially set back here in 2018, which are going to be right around $13.80. Now this is going to be a little bit more clear here on the 6-month 4-hour time frame. Now we're going to kind of cut out some of this trading, as now it is kind of obsolete with our current trading levels, but in due time we could end up back down there. You never really know what the future holds. Nonetheless, you can kind of see where these levels acted as we moved back up. As we broke through them, it was a pretty rapid move through each level, and our most recent one, again, is right in here around 1380. You can see we poked above it, sold back down, poked above it a couple more times, but it wasn't until right in here, we'll call it late August, earlier this week really, that we saw that nice pop through about 14 or 1380 all the way up here to our new all-time highs right around $21 a share. And if you had seen my previous video here on NIO, what I was really describing was a bit of a cup and handle formation, which is kind of apparent here, that we had a bit of kind of like an extended or blow off top resistance up here around 1565. So we had our top, we came back down, we started to scoot back up, we tapped it as we went into earnings, we then sold back down, and then here's that handle formation. And when we broke through that 1565 mark, we then soared and really sent us all the way up here to $21 a share. Now ever since then we have started to see the price pull back, and we closed out today around 1850. So as we look at this from a 4-hour time frame, and the grand scheme of things, I would look to see as 16 or excuse me, 1565 as being a support, as it acted as a resistance in the past. And when we broke through it, it really acted as that, catalyst. Like when we broke through it, here are all these new buyers that are stepping in. Now you can also see one more level right in here on the 4-hour time frame, which we'll get into a little bit deeper, is the $18 price point. So that's one more to keep in mind that we can see here on the 4-hour time frame. Now if we move it into a 5-day, 5-minute, that'll be where we're looking at this week's trading. So here's our big pop. Which you can call it really between 15 and 1565 was where we saw that big move. And you can see we actually closed up above 18, or right around $18 a share on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we then powered through all the way towards $21 a share, and then we've sold back down. You can actually see yesterday evening we saw sell all the way down towards $18, and then pre-market this morning we bounced a little bit, and then intraday today we actually bounced off of $18 a share and then closed up about 50 cents from there. But you can kind of get an idea of what this pattern is looking like. It's a bit of a descending triangle that we're seeing here. As you can see, we had our top around 21, and then we had this top right in here around 25. And you can kind of see all of these levels if we zoom it in a little bit closer. That we've got a resistance here. When that failed, we broke back down, and then we were staying within this wedge. We then sold down, bounced off of 18. We were only able to make it back up to right in here around $19 and about 60 cents. From there, we were basically flat for most of the day until we hit that upper bound of the wedge, and then we sold all the way back down towards $18 per share. So I really think 18 is going to be a critical support. I think in the long run, we will end up going back up and testing these highs around $21 a share. But again, with the release that there will be another 75 million shares of NIO out there in circulation, bringing down the value of the current shares, plus all of the new auto manufacturers that are trying to penetrate into the market. I think that there are, some negative reasons that you could bring to the table here for NIO. But when you look at those other companies and then you compare them to NIO, NIO is outperforming them in the amount of vehicles that they are delivering. So I think this will be, as time goes on, seeing how these new manufacturers, how much of a competition are they for NIO, or is NIO still accelerating and being the leading market share in China for electric vehicles? So I think that's really important. But nonetheless, again, 18 as being a strong support for now, and then down here maybe in the upper 16s, as you can see on Tuesday, we had a little bit of trading right in there. So we'll call it about $16.90, right around $17 a share as being the next support, or maybe even up here in the upper 17s, around 17.25. I'd really just call that a support zone. If we were to break back up to the upside, I think that would be really positive. We'll probably see a lot of buyers step in, but look to see resistance up here around 19.20, as we had resistance back in here on Wednesday, support here on Thursday, and resistance here on Friday. 19.20 will be a pivotal point. And then as we move up here around, again, that 19.60 up here to about 19.80, really all the way up there towards that $20 price point is going to be a pretty strong resistance level. But if we can see a significant amount of buyers step in and move that price higher, I would not be surprised if next week or even the week following we were back up here around $21 a share. But again, we do need to see some form of consolidation and then a push upward here on NIO, followed with a sizable amount of volume to push us back up here towards 21. Now, do not be, overly greedy. Do realize that we had a really big push today or this week from that roughly 1565 mark all the way up here towards $21 a share. So if we did see a further retracement, I would not be too terribly surprised. You cannot keep this all-out sprint going for days and days on end. So if we did pull back down farther, I still think that it'd be pretty healthy. But nonetheless, I do think that we will head back up as we kind of break out of this pattern and see some new buyers move in as the volatility kind of slows down from this week's news. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like or leave a comment on what your thoughts are here on NIO. And if you are feeling just so inclined, you can also hit that subscribe if you want to see future videos like this. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.